mud with it. Out the motherfucking mud with it. Out the motherfucking.
This is stupid. What up, though, everybody? Thank you for listening and watching another episode of the Three Raw Podcast. This is CJ.
Your man's Rob.
And we got a special guest on our show today. Her name is Autumn.
Hey,
what's going on?
What's going on?
Doing good. She the host of Lit Life Podcast, which is based out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
Thank you for coming on the show, girl.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, for sure. So tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit more about your podcast.
All right. So, like you said, my name is AutumnTheAries, and I host a podcast called the Lit Life Podcast, where I encourage you to live your life autonomously. I was just telling him, I'm originally from Toledo, Ohio, but I currently reside in the Atlanta, Georgia area. I've been here, 4.5 years, almost 5 years. God, time flying. And I don't know. I don't really be knowing what to say about myself all the time. Okay, so the podcast, I feel like the podcast, have you guys, this is the best way I can explain it. Have you guys ever seen Seinfeld? Like, did you guys used to watch that?
Not really.
Okay, well, a little bit. Okay, so Seinfeld was like this show that it was a sitcom, but it was every single episode was kind of different, and each character was just kind of different, but the show itself wasn't about anything. They used to call it the show about nothing. Like it was about a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
But not one particular thing. So that's kind of how I explain the Lit Life Podcast. Like the main basis is it's me in all my transparency, just talking about any and everything. I don't do a lot of pop culture. I like my podcast episodes, I like them to not be dated per se. Like I know recently I've been having to talk about a lot of recent events, but I like to tell stories. I like to talk about music. I like to it's really just about anything. One of the last episodes I had a tax specialist on. So it's really just me encouraging everybody to live their life autonomously and live their life without any like social constraints. Live how you want to live and live for yourself. That's it, really.
That is like my motto of my life. Like, live your life. Don't let nobody tell you how to live your life.
And don't live your life for people. And the example that I always give is, you know how a lot of us, we say, well, I'm living for my children. Like I have to stay alive for my children. Well, what about for yourself? Like, what are you doing for yourself? What are you sowing into yourself to create some sort of happiness? It's okay, of course, to make sure that you are doing what you need to do in your home, with your children, with your spouse, with your friends, any type of, relationships, work relationships, anything that you have. But you have to make sure that you put that same type of energy or even a little bit more energy into you. You can't give your best without, you know what I'm saying, sowing into your own self. So you have to be happy before you can project happiness on anybody else. And that's all that I want.
That is so true.
All right, now I got a question.
Sure.
Exactly what you were just talking about. When do you think, maybe you might be giving yourself a little bit too much attention? Or, like if you do have kids, what's the fine line of me being there for my spouse, kids, or etc., and me being there for me?
Well, I mean, I guess it just kind of depends. I think my whole thing is it starts with you. So for instance, this might be going down a rabbit hole, but there's people.
Oh, no, go ahead.
There's people who will stay married who don't want to be married. Right? Am I right? So what's the number one reason why people say that they're going to just stay married when they don't want to stay married? What's the number
The
one?
kids.
It's the
The
kids.
kids. We stand together for the kids.
So at what point do you think your kids are going to realize that you're not happy? Because I guarantee
Mm-hmm.
that by the time
Oh shit.
you say, you know, I'm just this, you know what I'm saying? They already know. Y'all know kids are we don't give kids enough credit.
So don't. We sure don't.
So if you're gonna do something for your kids, you might want to be happy. You
You gotta
understand?
protect your happiness too.
You
You
might
have
want
to
to be
protect that
happy.
by all
And
means.
I also always have to say, I also have to put a disclaimer out there. Yes, it can, because I think you were kind of going towards like when is it becoming selfish? It can be selfish, but selfish is not all
Right.
bad. Being selfish is not always a bad thing. But I always say, don't use you living your life autonomously as a way to do some old dumb shit. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
don't use living your life autonomously to be like, oh well, you know what? I feel like today I'd like to have a different flavor of woman than what I already have at the house, and you haven't had that conversation with the woman in your house, because you could definitely live your life autonomously and be happy with however many women you want to, as long as they're all consenting to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really how I feel about it. Like, everything starts with you. I have met so many, well, I don't want to say it like that, but I've known so many different people who have done things, major things for other people. And you looking like, okay, well, what did you get anything out of this? Like, what what are you going
And
to do
see,
for yourself?
and I'm a firm believer in letting me know how you feel. You know what I mean? Like, I try not to go in no form of situation, partnership, relationship, period, when I feel like, all right, you're not speaking your mind. You know,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I might overly ask you, like, is you all right? What's going on with you? Like, speak your mind. I don't want no
Mm-hmm.
surprises. I don't want
Yeah.
make it seem like I'm forcing you to do something, or I'm intimidating you to act a certain way because of what I might personally feel like or believe. And sometimes I get good results, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I gotta still, learn. I'm not gonna say the hard way, but people gotta still eventually expose their hand, or eventually, well, I felt like this, that, or third. Well, like, damn, I asked you this 2-3 months ago. Why didn't you say that then? Why you wait to the last minute to tell me this?
Yeah, you can't really. I mean, it's a case by case basis, and again, it could have been, and it could have been where they were really just trying to do, like you said, whatever you wanted them to do, or maybe they were just really trying to make things work, or maybe they was just full of shit. Like, I can't answer.
And see,
I can't
right,
give you
and
a
it's
straight
always that.
answer.
All right.
It's always that fine line with me, man, because I just never. And trust me, it's not for me to know. It's just for me to feel that I do know, because you see and expressing that I'm not full, or I'm you the truth, or I'm opening up to you, or I'm, you know what I mean? I feel this way. Like,
Well,
I'm one of
here's
these type
another
of people,
thing.
man. I don't wear my emotions on my skin. Mm-hmm.
Here's another thing about living your life autonomously. You can only live your life autonomously. You can't live everybody else's life
Everybody
autonomously.
else.
And
Like,
that's one
I
thing
mean, you have to. I mean, you can give them chance after chance after chance after chance, hand over fist, to tell you whatever it is that you really feel deep down that something is going on, like, but you can't. I mean, it's the same with kind of like with the law of attraction. So a lot of people, how you speak, what you say, and everything that you say comes about, and all this, that, and the other. However, go, y'all know I mess the story up, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So you can do that for yourself. You can say, Autumn, I am going to be happy today. When I woke up this morning, I said I was going to be happy. I'm going to be happy. Now, I could also say, you know what? guys from this podcast that I'm recording with right now are going to be happy as well. But I can't project that for you. That's something that you have to project for yourself. So you see what I'm saying? Like the law, I mean, it's still the same law, but you have to do all those things for yourself. If we can't, I mean, we could pray for people, we could do all this, that, and the other, but they got to do it too.
Bro. And I said that
Right.
for years because like I remember my wife, she always think I'm selfish because I always think about myself. I'm like, it's not true. I think about you, but at the same time, I also gotta, I gotta make sure I'm straight first as well. Like, period. Because I don't want to be sitting here like all like unhappy and shit.
And
Trying to make you happy. Trying to
two,
make you happy.
yeah, and two though, I mean, there's two sides, you know what I mean? Like y'all, you just have to be able to, and first and foremost, I'm no relationship counselor. I'm just talking about what I do for
Hey, the
myself.
love guru. The love
But
guru.
no, not at all. Not with my single tail over here. Nah, not me. All I'm saying is
Oh,
there's a balance. There has to be a balance there. Like, yeah,
Mm.
you're not like, it's not gonna be okay if you go out, if you feel like you need to go to Vegas next month and spend the rent money. Like, that's not okay. You see what I'm saying? It's, if you're taking care of what you're supposed to be taking care of at home,
Mm.
and everything is good, you know what I mean? Like, you're doing what you're supposed to do. You have to still have to find a way to sow into yourself. You have to.
but you know what? One thing I realized though, I can act a certain way or feel a certain way my whole life, and I can wake up tomorrow a totally different man with totally different views, opinions, ideologies, and ideas. And it's like, I'm not gonna say it's selfish, but it's like, if I hide who I am now today from somebody like a loved one, or you know what I'm saying, my spouse or whomever, that is selfish in my opinion, because it's like they still going off the old me. You see what I'm saying? I'm somebody totally different and new now today. So I have to, you know what I'm saying, basically tell them who I am today. Like, all right, man, for instance, all right, well, hey, I'm not gonna be too extreme, but like even with religion, like, all right, I was a Christian. I ain't saying me, and just an example. I was a Christian my whole life. Today I realized, hey, maybe I'm a Muslim. Maybe I'm feeling what Farrakhan been saying. You know what I'm saying, the last some amount of days or whatever, and I just decide to make this big change in my life. You know what I'm saying? Am I selfish if I feel like I want my wife to accept this or my spouse to accept this, and it's just like it's just gone to her? You see what I'm saying?
I don't
It's
think
all about growth, but it's all about growth, bro. And we talk about this
yeah.
all the time. We talk about this all the time on the podcast. Like, it's all
We
about.
do.
I don't think it's selfish. I think that now I
Hold
now
on. For the listeners, that was just an example. I don't
right
need y'all
right
getting on my head, making it seem
They
like
be in
that's
your
me.
head, bro. They be
No,
in your head, bro.
It's just an example.
now I think that it would be selfish to expect your spouse or girlfriend or whatever to also instantly convert. Like, I think that would be selfish. And I think that I
Mm.
I know that some households, y'all have to be doing thinking, be on the same wavelength when it comes to religion and politics and just certain issues. And I get that. I understand it. But I do feel like if you are deciding to, do something different than what you've been doing with your family and your girl and whoever for all these years, yeah, you definitely need to talk about it. And it's definitely going to be kind of, it might be tough for y'all to work through, or you never know. Maybe they've been thinking the same thing. You just don't really know how it's going to turn out,
Mm.
but you can't expect them to just be like, all right, bet. I mean, for them, they can say that for you, like, oh, okay, well, you feel like you need a different type of spiritual journey. I get that, yada yada yada. I think that they should be understanding on that front, but you can't just be like, it's not gonna be okay if you be like, well, you got to do it too right now.
That's what it is. Like the
Right.
two major
Right.
things in the
And I
relationship
mean,
is
that's probably
what. Okay. What you saying, Rob?
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm saying this is like the two major things in relationships is
No,
like
go ahead.
time,
Finish up.
like time and communication is very important. You got to at least communicate with that person before you jump to this is like, hey, I want to be this religion. I want you to like to convert with me, especially with Muslim. Being a Muslim, I got a lot of Muslim friends. Being a Muslim is like, as I observe, is like you got to be very dedicated to that religion in order for you to do anything. So like to jump from like Christianity to like Muslim or Islam, it can be kind of difficult. It can be very difficult because
Or
like you
well,
gotta.
see, I was just using that as an example. You know what I'm saying?
I
But
know,
it
I
don't
know.
really have to be like religion because that might be like an extreme example. And I apologize if it was, but like just
I mean,
sometimes
it makes
small
sense. It
things,
was a
like
very good example, actually.
It's
right,
actually
right.
was a
But
good
I just
example.
know I just don't want to offend no fans or no listeners. You know what I mean? On
You ain't
either
gonna, you
end,
ain't
you
gonna
feel
make
me?
it.
You
But
ain't.
like,
Everybody ain't gonna be happy all the time with what you say on your
Wait,
podcast.
and that's right.
On your
And,
podcast.
and I was
oh yeah,
picking
people be mad at me all the time.
and bro, I was just basically was piggybacking on what you was saying. Like as
Right,
far as
right.
like I'm trying to intertwine with time and communication because like if y'all make a decision like that, if it's like a risk taking decision, it takes time to like do all that stuff, and you got to communicate with your loved ones. So like, hey, I want like you want to move from one state to another state.
I was gonna
That's
bring
a
that up.
big decision, and that's risk taking too because like you going for a new job, you got to try to find a place. You don't know how the area is. Um, it's a huge challenge,
It's a
but
big deal to uproot, especially to uproot your family. Like when I moved, I was just out. It was just me. I mean, I have family at home. My son, excuse me, is still in Toledo, but he's grown. But still, it's just like I know it was a big decision for me. So to uproot a family, I know, it's gonna be it's gonna be some talking to unless maybe this is something that y'all have already been talking about and the opportunity finally comes up. But nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? There has to be a conversation that, it's even a little bit more than just communicating. There has to be an understanding. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to come to an understanding with one another. You could communicate, you could tell me everything up under the sun, but if it's
yeah.
going in one ear and out the other, or if it's just bouncing off my head, or if it's just some shit I just don't really want to hear, it's
Oh
not going to
my
be
God.
effective.
Preach. Because sometimes
Yeah.
what you just said, you know what I mean, that hit it right on the nose, definitely with a lot of people, because a lot of people will let a lot of information go in one ear out the other simply because they might not even be wanting to hear what you're saying, or what you're saying is not important, or you know what I'm saying, relevant to them right now at the moment, until it becomes that, you know what I mean?
Or it could just be they just can't
Or they might not be
comprehend it
taking it
right
as
there.
serious as you.
They may
Like,
not
you
may
know,
not be able to comprehend it right then
that
and there.
too.
You know how have you ever gotten any news that not anything that was just like horrible news, but somebody tell you something and you just kind of be in shock, and then you have to go
Yeah.
back to them and be like, "Nah, wait a minute, we was talking about X, Y, and Z the other day. Now, what exactly did you say?" It could be one of those type of deals where I mean, it's not really blocked out, but it's just like, oh. Oh, so we moving to North Dakota? Like I don't even know nobody that live in North Dakota,
Oh
but
hell
all
no no
right.
no. That's like one of them states I would never move to. Fuck all that.
Oh shit.
Mm-mm.
But you
No.
feel where I'm coming from? Like it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we do
I
it.
get
And
it.
then
I get it.
and then you just kind of, you're in the conversation kind of, and then you come back to it like, wait a minute now, what's we doing? What now? What? Who lives there?
It is time consuming too because hey, like damn, like hey baby, I want to tell you something. I got a job offer in like middle of nowhere, like North Dakota, Montana, and some shit like that. And we got to move in like 60 days. I'm like, damn, we got to find a house in 60 days. We got to try to find furniture arrangements and all that stuff.
But
Don't
look
get me
what you
started
just
with
said.
the pets.
Look what you just said, though. Even in that example, you just flat out told her what it was. You didn't tell her, like, all right, I got a job offer in the middle of nowhere, and I'm thinking about taking it. What do you think? You just flat out told her, like, man, I got this job in my town, and we got to move in 60 days. You see how the option ain't there? You see how the discussion ain't there? You see what I'm saying?
So I
I'll just
feel
give like
two.
a,
I feel
I'll
two
just get like
type
a
of
little
ways
small
about it.
example.
Mm-hmm. You
Go
saying what
ahead.
now?
No, he can go ahead with this story, and then I say what I gotta say after that.
No, you good. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was gonna say I have two ways of thinking of that about that. So I am probably one of the least traditional relationship type of people that you'll ever talk to. But
Mm.
and ladies,
I'm
y'all
trying to hear this.
don't be upset. But
That's a shame. You got to
I'm
tell the
still.
ladies that.
I mean, you do.
Right.
You do. I mean, because I know
I
know how my sister's about to be. You know what I'm saying? Because listen,
man, sensitive. Boy, oh
it's
boy.
it's not even, and I understand. Okay, so I am a firm believer in head of household.
Okay.
If my husband, I ain't got no husband, but if my husband
It's coming one day. Don't worry about it.
comes in the house and he says, Autumn, got this job offer, got to be gone in 60 days. I really feel like this is what it is. You know, I would hope that he would also say, you know, like, of course, I would hope he would say, like, how do you feel about it? Whatever have you. But I'm going to ask my questions, whether he asks me or not. But I'm going to ask all of the questions that I need to ask. But the very last question is probably going to be, are you sure that this is the best decision at this point in time for us? You know what I'm saying? For our and you know, and for him. I mean, if he's leaving whatever job he's at, there has to be things going on. Things don't just happen, right? Unless, you know, your job is just like, okay, we gonna send you to so and so. Sometimes they send you like, if you're in the military, they have to get up and move all the time. So how does that type of wife? What do you say about that type of a wife? Like, that's head of household. Their husband is the head of household, or even the wife, if they're in the, you know what I'm saying? If the wife is the only one that's in the military, and y'all got to get up and go when it's time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Period. You have to be away from that person for, you know, up to a year or a couple of years at a time. Like that, if your spouse is true head of household, and that's who you, and you can trust them with just about anything that's going on in the house, then why not? Like, all right, I mean, I miss my friends or whatever, and I hope I ain't got no like super real good job that I gotta quit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be a little naggy about it, but it's a no-brainer to me that we're probably gonna go. Now, of course, there's always, you know, an if, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's some BS, if it's some real BS, like, we ain't gonna be able to do that. Like, we gonna have to have this talk. But 97% of the time, I'm gonna let the head of household do what the head of household gonna do. And I feel like as long as I'm in a house or in a home by myself, I am the head of household. But if I am to get married, I'm gonna let them be the head of household. I mean,
Especially if you take a title like that, head of the household, it could be your husband or wife, whoever takes the household.
Absolutely.
It's your main responsibility to do whatever it takes to make for your well-being or for your family. Like, one day y'all might up and move to freaking Atlanta, Georgia, because it's like a job opportunity going on. I'm like, hey baby, we gotta move. Not we gotta move, but like, like, hey, baby, I got a job opportunity in Atlanta, Georgia. Making more money than I'm making now.
It has to make sense.
Blah blah
It
blah.
has to
Yeah,
make sense.
you gotta give her like clear explanation, like, hey, we should go there. We should move to like Lithonia or something like that. We should move to like Sandy Springs, whatever the
Right.
case may be.
Right.
Just trying to like give her like a reason why you think this move is like the best for you guys.
But you
Instead
have
of
to
like,
also, I mean, again, I feel like it would be, it's gonna be a no-brainer, but I do feel like, just like Rob was saying, like there has, you still have to consider that there's gonna be feelings there. You know what I'm saying? You still have to consider that a conversation is going to have to be had, even if you know that your spouse is going to do whatever it is that you want, that you feel like is right for the family. If they trust you like that, that's awesome, that's great, but you still have to have that conversation. I mean, just round it off like, okay, so how do you feel? What are you thinking? What are your concerns? And we could talk about it, because he or she may bring something up that you didn't think about. That's why it's two of y'all. Yeah, there's a head of household, but that's why there's two of y'all. Y'all still have to put your heads together and think together. This is not a dictatorship. Yeah, it's a head of household, but it's not a dictator. You still have to just have those conversations.
and most people, like, what most people think about like head of household, they think it is some sort of dictatorship. Cause like, damn, he like
A
controlling your.
lot of people, right? A lot of people will look at that, CJ, just to throw in some cherries on what you're saying. A lot of people will listen to, or what I'm saying, really think it is like you were saying, some dictatorship, more on some, the man is controlling everything, the woman is stupid, all she doing is cooking and cleaning, or he's
Like
controlling,
she's
he's
basically a
telling her what to
housewife and
do.
shit.
Right, basically, like it's basically like slave days or something. You know what I mean?
But I always turn a few heads when I tell people that there are people out here who consent to being a housewife. Y'all sitting back calling
That's
them
true.
stupid. But for real, this is what they consented to. They had a conversation. There was a conversation between them and their husband or whoever it is that they
Right, I was
living
about to say, because whoever that's going on in their household should stay in their household. Ain't
yeah,
nobody.
But the
and there
key
was
word,
a conversation, and the
right,
conversation ended up like, okay, I mean, there are literally different types of relationships where one person is in control of everything. Like
but
Yeah,
their whole lifestyles are out here like that are consent, that you could read a contract about. They would
right,
sign a contract, so you
the
don't
key
really know
word,
what's going on.
the key word that you keep saying is consent. A lot of people, it's like they know what that word means, but they really don't know what that means. You know what I'm saying? Like if
Mm-mm.
it's agreed upon on both parties, basically it's nothing that nobody can really say or do because they both cool about it. A lot of people hear, the term housewives and head of households and stuff like that, and they really do think in their brain it's some form of a slave thing going on. Like she really has no control over the way everything is set up. Like she's washing the dishes because she wants to. She don't got a job because he's forcing her not to have a job, etc., etc., etc. And I
mm,
think definitely now in 2020, man, a lot of people is, creating their own type of relationships with everything,
Mhm.
whether it's friendships, partnerships, religions, or who knows, who cares, basically. People
Yeah.
living their lives. And I feel like we can't keep judging people on the way they live their lives on the way that we assume that we should live ours, you know.
mm,
Yep. That you're absolutely 100% right. You
right.
gotta stay in a judgment-free zone. And you know why? Because you're gonna sit up here and waste your time and energy judging what somebody else is doing, when they probably that's what they wanted.
Right.
You know what
Like you
else that
judging
comes
people
with
like,
judgment?
and they judging people like they say like, hey, somebody was like buying like a lot of pair of shoes and stuff like that. But I'm like, damn, shit, let them walk let them get like a pair of shoes, shit.
Like
That's their damn
it's
money. Get
not
out their
my
damn
money.
pockets. Get out
It's
their
not
pockets.
Right.
exactly.
But you know what comes with judgment though? Assumption. you get to judging somebody so much that you start to assume what's going on in their lives, and then in your brain you start creating your assumption as facts in reality.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people have a problem with that. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, you just really created a whole scenario on what's going on in these two strangers' lives that you don't have no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
But since you judging them, you created a reality, and then now you making that reality fact. You know, you mad at this person off the assumption that this person is this, that, and the third because whatever reason. And I feel like we gotta, as a people, period, black, white, Puerto Rican, it don't matter. I feel like we all, as a people, need to stop doing that. We really need to stop, you know, assuming things about people. Now, I get it. We human. Is human nature to a small degree to judge certain things. You know what I'm saying? We say we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but that's a lie because just as a human, sometimes you will judge a book by its cover. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's nature. But the problem comes in that a lot of people egos set into play. So they really think that they got all the answers. The way that they was raised is the right way that was, you know what I'm saying, that was you supposed to be living. The way that I'm living now currently is the right way. Everybody should do what I'm doing or follow my lead. And it just don't go that way in this world. It never has.
Yep, you're right. And if for anything other than to just conserve your own energy to use for positive things, like at the very least, just it's just no point. Like there's no point. There's no point in counting people other people's money. There's no point in counting other people's lovers, and there's you know what I'm saying. There's like no purpose in any of this.
I never understood that count other people's money and you got money problems your damn self. I never understood that.
I never understood even as a little kid when I didn't even have no clue what it was. Like, why do they care? I used to always say that when I used to be around strangers or grown-ups or be in school and I used to hear the gossip and stuff like that. I'm talking about a little kid. I would have to been like first grade, second grade. You know, this is in the 90s. And I used to just be thinking to myself, like, what did that got to do with them? Like, that's not affecting your lifestyle at all. Now, if it's something that's, you know what I'm saying, can affect the way you live, okay, maybe you got a right to care or give an opinion, etc. But if it's not affecting you, man, let it go. People go live their lives. We have to allow people to live.
Yeah. My whole thing is if it's not paying my bills, if it's not feeding me, and if it's not sexing me, I don't have anything to do with it. I don't have anything to do with it.
Hell the fuck no. So it don't got nothing to do with me. So I'm like, I mean, I'm gonna stay my lane. You stay your lane.
Facts.
Just move on, shit. Just move the fuck on.
Do you? They were saying on Twitter, you know how every time somebody be like, if you like it, I love it, but you don't love it but you don't love it for real. You just like whatever. You going to do whatever you gonna do.
Right. That's been my motto. I'm telling you, that's been my motto on here since we started this podcast. Like, hey, that don't got nothing to do with me. If you like it, I love it. I ain't see nothing.
I support it. I
didn't smell nothing. I don't know what's going on. I don't care what's going on, man.
I mean, even if you don't support it, like I ain't mad at it. It just is what it is.
I'm not mad at it.
Do you?
That's what I'm saying. Like I support it. Hey, do you, bro?
That's it.
It may be the total opposite of my beliefs and my truths and stuff like that. But I'm like, I'm
gonna play devil's advocate a little bit, right? Sometimes it might be okay to give an opinion about something, right? Because sometimes you might see somebody that's good and they might be going down the wrong direction. And sometimes,
but is that judgment? But that's not being judgmental.
A little bit, just a little bit. Like, all right, for example, I might have a little man who stayed down the street from me, you know, and I didn't watch him grow up his whole life, basically. So now he's to the age of, let's say, 16. You know, he a teenager. He's smelling himself now. The hormones kicking in. And, you know, he think he knows everything, don't know himself from a hole in the wall. We all been there. We all was teenagers.
Absolutely.
So I'm seeing that, you know, a lot of these people that he's hanging around with, is, you know what I'm saying, not his speed. And when I say not his speed, they're a little bit more advanced when it comes down to street stuff, you know. And I know that's just not who he is. You know, they're a little bit more street smart, you know what I'm saying, than you. So instead of me flat out telling, you know what I'm saying, young man or young dog to leave such and such them alone, I try to give them some advice. Like, look, man, you know, such and such them dog, man, you know, try to be easy, man. Try to be smart, dog. Don't try to do something that's not in your character.
But
You know what I'm saying?
that's still not being judgmental though. That's not being judgmental towards him. And if it's a fact that these guys are bad news, it's
But
not
hey,
being judgmental
but hey,
towards
like
them.
Autumn said earlier in the podcast, she said it might go one ear and go out the other.
It might bounce right
Right,
on off.
right, right. Now I got
Especially with
one
the
other
young bucks,
question.
especially with the young bucks, bro.
Uh-huh.
Especially with the young bucks, man. They don't want to listen at all. Like they hear you, but they ain't gonna listen to you. They're like, shit, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm grown. I'm quote unquote grown. I'm gonna do
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, everybody get
He
grown
been like that.
magically
I've
at
been like
16.
that, bro. So think we
My
know it all.
mom,
But go
my
ahead, bro.
cousin, I can't remember what was going on, but when my cousin was younger, and she said something to my mom like, I just want to see for myself. So it's been a running thing in our family. Like every time my mom will say it to somebody like, oh, you just want to see for yourself, huh? Because she already know what was gonna happen, what the outcome was gonna be. So she hit me with that a few times, and she was right every single time. Every single time she hit me with the, oh, you want to see for yourself. She knew what was gonna happen.
And I got loved ones. I'm
Mama
not
knows
even gonna
best.
hold y'all
Mama
up.
knows best.
I really do got loved ones that have that ideology that they just want to see for themselves. And it be hurting me, man, because a few of them really have to learn the hard way on everything, you know. And I'd be like, damn, I really want to, like, please don't go left. You know what I mean? Like, but I know you want to go left, and I know you are going to go left. And when you go left, it's not going to be good for you. But you got to see it for yourself, I guess, so you can learn, you know. Like, for instance, I got another example about that type of situation. Like, if you got a homegirl and, for instance, you see her man cheating, like, do you tell her that? You see he out on a day, he kissing somebody else, he rubbed up all on somebody else. Like, how do you approach that? How do you tell them, look, you know, or do you tell them that? Do you mind your business now? Do you try to tell them and
That's
add in
hard,
your
bro.
2%?
And that's
It's
hard.
hard nowadays, you know.
It's hard because, like,
How do
of
you?
course, you got to
How would
be,
you approach?
because you don't want to be in a grown folks' business. And shit, he might have went on. They might have went out to eat. He probably just mush on the fucking cheek. Shit, you don't know. Or
It
they
just
tongue kissing.
depends.
It depends.
I mean,
It
but
depends, bro.
like,
Like,
Look, so one of my best friends live in Detroit.
what up, though?
If she said, if I'm here in Atlanta and I run into her dude in Atlanta with some other chick, my dog, like you out here with some other chick, and my dog in Detroit, like, what you doing? No, I'm not gonna say anything to him. I'm not gonna say anything to him, and I hope he see me, because I don't care. Because what are you gonna do? I'm definitely gonna tell her. Like, so is he? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. And but it has to be like definite. Like, I have to see them. Like, there has to be the chemistry. Like, he can't just be with just any girl in Best Buy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have to be hugged up or something. Like, it has to make me uncomfortable. If it makes me uncomfortable, then I'm gonna say something. And but you always risk you risk your friendship when you do that.
Oh yeah, because they gonna think you lying. Either they think you lying, or you want you want their
Yep,
boyfriend.
you jealous or anything, or
Jealous.
even not even that. Even they just sometimes they just don't want to hear it. They may not be mad at
right.
you for that. They just don't want to hear it. It could be something that they already know for real, for real. They ain't saying nothing to you because they're embarrassed. And I tell people all the time, it's okay to be embarrassed. It's a natural thing. We're all embarrassed. Embarrassment will pass, but they don't want to say anything. So what do you know? You know what I'm saying? Like I can't. I am that friend that no matter what's going on, not even just with stuff like this, but if I see something in you that's going on that
Yep, if you
doesn't
see
sit
something, tell
well with
something.
me, I'm gonna say something.
If you see something, say something.
And
Yep.
I have like I won't say that I've lost friends, but I've some of my friendships have changed because of it. And it's like whatever it was
Oh,
that I said, it was true. Like it happened, like everything happened the way that I said that it probably would
I'm not
happen.
gonna
But it's
I'm
crazy.
not gonna hold you up. I didn't lost friendships over type of, I mean, them being, I'm not gonna say stupid, but just like head over heels in love with somebody toxic. I didn't lost it. I didn't lost like one of my best friends, period. I mean, because of a similar type situation. And it just gets to the point where, all right, this person is toxic. They cheating, they beating on you, they stealing from you, they just whatever, they just toxic, right? And then I come to you as a friend, like, all right, man, look, this, that, and the third. And you accept me coming as you as a friend. Then like 2-3 days later, you back with them, or just anything like that. It's sometimes it can rub you the wrong way, sometimes it don't. But it's like you gotta really be a strong friend to sit back and watch your friend be in a toxic
Absolutely.
relationship.
And I've had a couple of friends that just, we're still cool, but they don't talk to me. You know what I'm saying? They don't. So to me, the whole relationship has changed, because if our relationship as friends was built on us being open with each other and talking about everything, the good, the bad, and whatever, and because you feel like I'm too opinionated, or because you don't want to tell me anything because you think I'm going to have something to say about it, like, it's tough. I can't, and I changed, you know what I'm saying? Like the times that it's happened, I've changed, but that means that our relationship has changed, because now you're telling me that you don't even want me to be myself. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
This is who I am. This is who I am. I am very blunt. I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't mean for anything to ever come across, crazy or whatever. I'm just very passionate, and I'm very passionate about my damn friends. So if somebody is like, I'm still that friend, and you call me childish, and I don't care. I'm still that friend that if we in a group and you don't like so and so, I don't like so and so neither. Now we
You want
ain't
to know
cool.
why? That's that Aries in you, because I'm an Aries.
It is what it is, bro. It is what
It's
it
just
is.
that Aries. We loyal.
Hey,
We
to
loyal
very
to the
loyal,
point where we too loyal.
very
Too
loyal.
loyal. We
Hey,
sometimes loyal to the point where it's hurting us in the end. It's like, damn, man, it's
mm-hmm.
hurting me, but I'm trying my best to be there for you. I'm trying my best to compromise for you. I got family members on top of loved ones, friends, old
But
friends, etc. That
if
I
your
didn't,
friend
I mean,
smell
it's my,
toxic, that's what
or not just
chemistry comes a
toxic,
long way,
bro.
bro.
Just you know what I'm saying, just not toxic, dog, just biting your lip, trying to support them, trying to, like she just
Mm-hmm.
said, if you don't like dude, I don't like dude, period. That ain't
Facts.
it don't got, you know what I mean, I'm riding with you. But one thing, a lot of us Aries, dog, just a lot of people, period, it hurt, because then on the flip side, they might not ride for you as tough.
They're
Now
not.
I got a
No, they're
problem with
definitely
this
not going to.
person
No, they're every single time. They're definitely not going to.
every time,
Definitely
you
not
know what I
going to.
mean?
And
Like,
it
damn, I
does
rode with
it does
you
hurt, but
on your issue.
I also feel like even more so than like an Aries thing, which I do agree that that is something that an Aries does, but even more so, like, I think sometimes it has to do with how, not how you were raised, but how you grew up and the friends that you grew up around. Like, because I can remember just all the way back to like elementary, you know what I mean? Like having a crew in elementary and middle school who that's how it was. It was just like
Mm-hmm.
that. If my best friend Natalie, if you didn't like her, which it was a whole bunch of people, my best friend Shantae, I was always fighting. I was always fighting because nobody liked her. Not because
Oh
nobody
my god.
liked me, but because nobody liked her. You see
I
what I'm
had
saying?
had a similar situation. I had a similar situation a couple times with a lot of people who names I'm not gonna say, but if for some strange reason they just not people. You know what I mean? Or a people
Listen,
person. My bad. And
listen. My friend got
they all
into
and I remember growing up. I promise you, I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm sorry, but you hit it right on the nose. I can remember going to school and people used to pull me to the side like, "Look, you cool, but you know such and such you be with, that's who I got a problem with." You know what I mean? And then I remember I used to have to tell them like, "Well,
That's
then you
that
got a
conflict of
problem
interest,
with
dog.
me." All right,
I've been through that too, bro, and I've been
don't
through
tell
that
them you
too.
got a problem with me, but on the flip side, but look, flip side understood with these people because it was like, cool, I'm a cool person. I mean, whoever I'm with, I'm not gonna say names. They it's always been they for whatever it is, they rub the wrong way, you know. And people used to try to explain it to me, like, look, man, such and such, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. You not like that. You know, I know you riding for your mans because of this, that, and the third, but the problem ain't with you. So sometimes we even used to get in little small issues, little beefs, little fights, this, that, and the third. And once it was all said and done, I still never had a problem with these people. And I might have been the main one fighting. You see what I'm saying? But then they understood it like, you not fighting me because me and you got a problem. You only got a problem with me because of such and such. And you loyal and I can respect that.
Bro,
Me,
I've been there,
myself,
done that, dog.
Listen,
bro, I'm telling
I'm gonna tell you this. On my 21st birthday, I went to this little hole in the wall bar by myself.
Okay.
My best friend was in there. My best friend that I grew up with all these years, right? So, and then one of my other best friends actually is a guy I call my brother. He used to live upstairs from us. He just so happened to be there. I hadn't seen him in years. So we drunk. Everybody buying me shots. We all drunk. Next thing you know, her dude comes in with another chick. So, of course, here she go, ready to fight. So she didn't fought the dude. The girl jumped in. I jumped in. Dude called me every name in the book. Like he never hit me or anything, but he called me so many names because I'm like, come on, girl. Like I'm finally when when the things are done, I'm like, just come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's just go. You know, she left with him. She left with him. I would never ever forget
I could
that.
believe it.
I will never ever forget that.
Yep.
She left with him. So
you ain't seen her since then, have you?
no, I've seen her. When every once in a while when I come home. But it's still, I mean, it's just one of those. I wouldn't go out with her after that. I didn't go out with her then. She just so happened to. What did she come? Yeah, she just so happened to show up. She just so happened to be there because I was there by myself.
That's fucked up, dog.
Yeah. So I mean, so I know, like, so even to a physical point, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like I was gonna ride with her to this day. I'm gonna ride. Like, it's weird. To this day, I will still ride for her. But that's why I don't really hang out with her either like that either.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even gonna put myself in that situation because
I know at that moment it give you like a different perspective on like how friends are and how people are. So it's like damn, should I hang out with this motherfucker anymore? I mean, we can be cool, but shoot, I love you from a distance.
And people don't get it. Like that, it's like they literally can't comprehend the fact that like somebody is being like, bro, your friend is really being disrespectful towards me, or you know what I'm saying? Like people don't, they don't get it. They can't see it.
People can see it. It's just not. People is selfish. If it don't got nothing to do with them personally,
they tone deaf, bro.
Then they tone deaf. Then it's what do you want me to do in so many words? You know what I mean? Because it's not affecting them personal. And me, myself, man, I've always been the type of person who people really don't appreciate the type of person I am until they don't really got me anymore. You see what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Like a lot of people, I can go back to when I was in elementary. Every friend that I ever had, it literally took me for me to leave them alone, not be as close, go a couple months, maybe even a couple of years without talking to them, for them to finally get like, oh, damn, Rob. Because I didn't went through so many other different people, different, you know what I mean, situations and shit like that. And they never was as loyal as you. They never had my back like how you did. But then at that point, it's always too late with me. Even if I return or continue to keep some type of friendship or whatever going, is never the same with me.
Mm-hmm.
Things I'm going to get to regardless. I'm going to respect you. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to ride for you. It just is what it is. If you need an ear, I'm there. If you're down on your luck and I got something, I'm there. You know, if you need support and I'm there. Definitely if I can give it. But it's just like, I damn near got a motherfucker fight tooth and nail to get that back in return. You know what I mean? It's been like that my
And it's
whole life. And then by
discouraging.
the
It's
time,
so discouraging. It's
yeah,
so
it is. And I
is.
don't know. I guess
It
it's just an
is.
Aries thing. I just guess it is. I don't know. Because I'm like that with everybody, even in
Bro, I'm
job
a Cancer.
situations.
I feel
I
the same way.
take everything what it is. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm a Cancer, so like I'm a friendly guy. I like to, I
Right.
value
And that's
my
the thing, though, CJ, bro. I ain't trying to cut you off. I'm not really that friendly.
See, okay,
I'm gonna be real with you, though.
but on that note, see,
I'm friendly to a
I
certain extent.
I am
friendly.
very friendly, but people don't think I am. I am like such a people person. But unless they like know me, unless they know me, people will not even approach me. Like
I say this, I'm real cool. I'm not disrespectful. I'm open-minded. You can get along with me. Oh, first glimpse, a lot of people think I'm mean or some shit. Like even with CJ, when I first met CJ, he even admitted it. Like, man, I thought you was mad, dog. I ain't know you was this cool, blah, blah. I'm a real
Bro, yeah,
cool
dog.
person. But like far as friendship, like I know how to separate a friend from an associate, from a business situation, from a coworker. I know how to be cool with everybody. I can blend in. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But friendly, it take a lot for me to say like you're my friend though.
Oh, well,
and once you my friend, that's it. I'm riding with
And it
you. But
levels
I
to that.
never really get that.
And it levels to that. So like you got like work friendships, you got like friends you like actually like grew up with. It's so like college friends. So it's levels when it comes to that. Cause like you like let's say work relationship. So like y'all friends with each other at work, y'all talk about everything. But outside of work, I can't fuck with you.
right.
Because like your person I work like I ain't gonna tell nobody where I work at, but like it's a lot of snakes in my job. So
Everybody's job.
that's everybody's job. But I think
The safety in the den, bro.
the snakiness is at an all-time high in my job. It's like 80% of the people on my job is snakes. But anyway, nevertheless, it's like I'll fuck with you at work, whatever, like that. You know, we got to deal with each other 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. So I got a choice but to fuck with you.
Right.
But outside of work, we ain't going out to no bars, we ain't going to no clubs.
Right.
I know how you are outside of work. I'm good.
And then sometimes you can develop a decent relationship with somebody that you work with went to school with or whatever. You know what I mean?
At work.
I definitely have.
But some people,
But it was really, but the only way that I can really develop that friendship or that level of friendship to where I can deal with them outside is like I have to see how they move at work. You see what I'm saying? Like I have to see certain things, how they move, what they do. You know,
the words out of my mouth.
How they talking, who they talking about. Like I have to see that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Cause like I like to, like I'm laid back. I can be quiet in a way. So like I like to observe. So like the only way I can fuck with you if I gotta see the way you walk, I can see the way you talk, the way you know how you present yourself. Then I gotta make a decision like, okay, should I approach that person? I'm like, I do work with this motherfucker, so I'm like, I gotta approach this motherfucker. So then when we get to talking, I'm like, okay, we got the same interests, you know, okay, cool, whatever. And then I'm like, damn, he like the same as me. I'm like, okay, he might be cool.
Right.
So it's like levels when it comes to that. It levels when it comes to friendship, man. Like Robert, like he said, like when I first met him, I'm like, he was mean as hell. I'm like, He on some Styles P type shit. So I'll never forget.
Ain't
What's
shit
a-
funny. I don't know what y'all laughing at. Sorry, nah, go ahead.
Right. Yeah. It was like he didn't want to be there any goddamn way. So like, so I met him on orientation day. It was like March of 2009, whatever. And he was looking mean as I'm like, damn, I don't do what I want to fuck with this nigga, dog.
Was y'all the only two black people in there?
No. We was
Oh.
in the hood.
I'm like, what?
No. We was in the hood, so we was at McDonald's. So
Oh, okay.
McDonald's we worked at, it was like 99% black, whatever.
Okay.
So I'm like, dang, cause how many people was at the orientation? It was like 5 people, right?
It wasn't that many. It was about 5.
It was about 5, yeah. So I'm like, that nigga gay as hell. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
my
about
man
too.
was fruity. He was fruity. I know exactly.
You know what I'm talking about.
I
That
ain't gonna throw
nigga,
him under the bus, but he was fruity.
I like, she kind of fine, but I don't think I'm gonna fuck with her like that. Nah, I don't think I'm gonna do that. He mean as hell. I don't think I want to fuck with him either. He might be cool, but but whatever the case may be, it's like you never judge a book by its cover. And then I think the first week we was working together, I'm like, then you was talking, I'm like, damn, this ain't cool to the motherfucker, dog. But we was in the grill and shit. So when you in the grill at McDonald's and shit, you gotta talk shit, man. You gotta
and that's where friendships are made, in the grill at McDonald's. What do you
11
mean?
years later, bro. 11 years later, bro.
Yeah, my dog, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
I
made some
mean,
good friends.
yeah, people always say that about me, dog. But it just be like, I just got a natural defense, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I've been through a whole lot, man. And
I
like,
feel that.
I know how to respect people. I know how to get along. But it takes a while for me to really, really open up, unless I feel like I can trust you. You know what I mean? If you giving me the vibes that you ain't really, alternative motives, I never got no alternative motives. I'm one of these type of people telling me I'm a little too honest. Like, I know how not to tell all my secrets or my dreams, and you know what I mean? But flip side, I don't got nothing to hide, man. Look,
Ooh,
I'm barely
Lord,
here
you
as
sound like
Steph
me.
Blake. I'm
That's how
just
I am
happy for
too.
life.
Hey, some shit might slip the fuck. Hey, some shit
So,
might
I
slip
mean, you
out my
can either
mouth.
take me for who I am or, right.
I'm the same way. I mean, I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. Again, but see, I think too, another thing when it comes to me and meeting new people and my, meeting potential new friends or my friends or whatever, I read people very, very well. It's a gift and a curse. It's a gift and a curse. Like I literally feel like in my adult life, I'm probably about I'm gonna be lenient. I'm gonna say about 94%. Like, I can read people. If I can be in the presence of someone and within the first 5 to 10 minutes, it'll be something like, something is just not right. That's the thought that I'll have.
That conscience, yeah.
Yeah, something's not right. And nobody around me can feel this or see this, but I let it ride. You know what I'm saying? I let it ride. I might, if whoever I'm with, I might be like, I might tell them, you know what I'm saying? Something ain't right. And then lo and behold, something don't be right. It always comes out. It always comes out.
I knew this motherfucker ain't right. I knew he
It
was kind of slow.
always comes out. And somebody told me at one point in time that because I'm that way, that I'm a pessimist and that I was speaking that into the universe. But just like I was saying earlier today, I can't speak anything like that into the universe about somebody else. The only thing that I can speak into the universe is my being, my happiness, my energy, my success, my downfalls. That's the only thing that I can't do that for anybody else. You know what I'm saying? I can't just be like, oh, I met this person and they're whack just because I just said they're whack. So they're really whack for real just because I said that. No, that's not how that works. So, but I've literally apologized to people, like, if I got it wrong. Like, I could be like, man, just like with y'all, like, man, at first it just what I was really not feeling you. I
Yeah,
was
you
feeling
own
like
it. You own
something
it.
was
You own
off.
it. You own it up. You own it.
Absolutely. I'd be like, but I'm glad.
It
I'm
takes a
glad
real
we
person.
did.
It takes a real person to own up to their mistakes. And that's the type of person I am. Like, if I know I fuck up, I will immediately come up to you and say, like, hey, man, I know I messed up, man. I apologize. So it's that assumption that I'm like, damn, I thought that you did that shit, but it actually wasn't you. So I apologize, bro. I apologize, bro. Can you forgive me,
Yeah,
dog? So
that's what's up.
at least trying to, some people I'm like, fuck that nigga. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
So,
Ah,
Oh well. All right,
nah,
nigga.
well, shit, fuck it.
Sucks to be you,
oh,
bruh.
Sucks to be you. Let me see what time. Damn, we on there like an hour and shit.
We've been talking.
We've been talking. I want to talk about something else, but I love this topic, bro. I'm shit.
Well, just throw it out there.
what y'all got? What's up? What you got?
I want to talk about George Floyd, but we can talk about that next time. All right. Hold on. TikTok. You doing your TikTok? You need to go. It's time for you to TikTok to bed. That's what you need to do.
Got him.
It's 11 o'clock, girl. You bet. Okay, whatever. 10 more minutes. This girl. So I got a 4-year-old daughter, man. She's going on 30. She is like very.
Oh yes.
Are you about to turn 5? Yeah, she loves JoJo CY. Some of y'all don't know JoJo CY. Do you know JoJo CY?
Unfortunately, I do, my G.
Unfortunately, I do too.
Unfortunate.
She's like a YouTube sensation. She's a YouTuber. She's a singer. I think she's like 16, 17, something like that. Little kids love her. And my daughter, she's very obsessed with TikTok. She be on there all day, every day.
That's funny.
I know. You nice to everyone? Okay. So I want to ask you, what made you move from Toledo to Atlanta?
So the story goes. It ain't nothing like that. So I was working at this nursing home, and I had been there 4.5 years or something like that.
Okay.
And every year I took a trip during Labor Day weekend. Every year, like for the past like 4 or 5 years, like at least since I had been there. So every year in January, I put my time in, you know what I'm saying? Every time. Long story short, the administrator denied my vacation.
Oh, damn. I hate that happens, bro. I hate that shit.
It was already paid for. Now listen, I put it in January, and in January he was like, well, we're gonna have to wait until, it gets closer. And I'm thinking to myself, what are we waiting on? We already know what we need to do prior to that. And if anybody corporate needs to find somebody to back me up, like I need to be able to take, my vacation. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And things had already been building up, and I had been looking for work, but that was the last straw. So I had told myself, like, I had just talked to my good friend from college who was living down here at the time, and she had told me, like, Autumn, if you ever, you trying to get out of Toledo, you need to come down here. And I'm like, I don't want to move to Atlanta. Like, everybody moves to Atlanta. I don't want to move there. And then all of this stuff happened. And then I was putting my resume out, and I started getting calls literally from Atlanta. Like, I literally ended up with 3 job offers in Atlanta. And this was before, because I had told myself, I said, and this was the one time that I've ever done this. I was like, you know what? I can't work here anymore. I'm miserable. So I'm gonna give myself until, I want to say it was like August 1st or something like that, or the end of August, something like that. I'm gonna give myself until X date. If I don't have a job already, like I'm gonna have to quit anyway. Like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I was literally at that point. Like, I'm gone. And lo and behold, like a couple weeks before that date, I started getting calls, and I was already planned a trip like a road trip that I was going on, and I was like, had ended up in Charlotte, North Carolina, because I was looking for work there too, and got the call
Love that
from
city.
Atlanta, and went to Atlanta to came to Atlanta to interview with two of the people, and a couple days later I was offered the job. So I called my homegirl back like, so is that room still available? Like,
Right.
is we gonna do this for a month or two? And she was like, girl, yes, come on down. So that's how I got here. It was work related. Like I
That's cool. And
got a job
Charlotte,
offer.
man, I love Charlotte, man.
I
Yeah,
do
that
That's
was
like
too.
what's
one of,
up.
that's like one of like top cities I would love to move to, other
I
than
do
like
too.
Virginia Beach or whatever like that. California. California's expensive.
But I'm gonna tell y'all this. This move was literally such a great move for me. Again, I did not want to live here because everybody lives here. But after about a year of being here,
But it was
I
your calling.
started to realize why. Like Atlanta, like the whole entire Atlanta area, this really is a magical place. Like it's like magic. You know what I'm saying? Like to
You know
somebody,
what? And you know, I love Atlanta. Don't get me wrong, but it's like it kind of remind me the city, not the outskirts, whatever. I'll talk about the city itself. It kind of remind me of Detroit so
it
much.
does. It
I'm
does.
like, I
Mhm.
can't live here, man. It remind
It,
me.
do- but it- it's the structure. It's like the neighborhoods. It's like the inside of the city. It's the neighborhoods that kind of remind me of like some Detroit neighborhoods, because like in Detroit, literally, I know one thing that I used to always say was you can be on one side of the street and like really be scared to death because you don't know what the hell gonna happen to you. Like you really don't want to walk the block by yourself, but you could cross the street and it's like a totally different thing. It's like you're in somebody's suburbs. Like that's how it's
Mhm.
always been, you know. In every time that I've, you know, and I've been to Detroit several times, but it's literally like crossing a street to it's two total,
Yep.
and that's kind of how it is. That's how it is here too. Like
Yeah,
you can literally be
It's
they've built so many of these
different.
built up these
Go ahead.
neighborhoods. They built up all these neighborhoods with all these newer houses and all this stuff, but you go one block down and you are dead smack. You still in the hood. You still in the hood where they built the stuff at. It just don't look like it anymore.
right. So like, it do remind me of Detroit a lot, except for Atlanta is a little hilly and it got a
A
lot of
lot.
trees.
No, a lot. There's nothing but hills here. The whole state of Georgia. It's beautiful though, like the trees and the mountains and all that. Because we're like, I'm literally like 10 minutes from Kennesaw Mountain. So I mean,
Yeah, y'all on the
it's
foothills. Y'all on the
beautiful.
foothills of Appalachian Mountains and shit.
Yeah,
So
it's beautiful, but the main thing about this area, like I said, it's pretty magical. There's so many things that come through here. I used to go to Detroit all the time to go to the concerts. Like I would go to, you know, the Shane Park and the Fox Theater or whatever to get my music fixed because I'm not getting any in Toledo. But here it's like 5 times more. You know what I'm saying? Like
oh yeah, they
they
got
can
something
have
going on. Something.
always and all of the festival. It reminds me of just like it kind of reminds me like of Detroit just on like a larger scale. All of the festivals.
You ain't
Detroit
lying.
on
It's like Detroit and
steroids.
Sarah. I was about to say that, dog.
Yeah, it
Detroit
is.
on steroids,
Detroit on
man.
You
steroids, boy.
switch
Rated up
out,
Detroit.
switch out Waffle House for you know, switch out Coney Island for Waffle House, right?
Right.
You still gonna have all of the because you know, y'all know how it is in Detroit. You gonna have a Coney Island on one block, and then the next block on all four corners is gonna be just like this. It's gonna be a church. It's gonna be a hair store.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a let's see, the church, the hair store. It's gonna be
Liquor store.
um a car wash, but it's something else. It's something else that I'm missing.
Barbershops. Nah,
Yeah,
hair
You got the
salons and
liquor
barbershops
store,
at the end of
the
the
liquor
day.
barbershop,
store. The liquor
gas
store.
station.
It's the liquor
Yeah.
store. It's the liquor store. So you gonna have the church, the car wash, the liquor store, and the hair store. That it, I mean, and then in the next block you gonna have Little Caesars.
Mm-hmm. You explain a lot Atlanta like Detroit, bro. I'm like, damn, that sounds just like Detroit. But like I can't live in Atlanta, man. Like I visit, but it's like I cannot live there.
Now
Especially like raise
it
your
took.
family. Now, if you like live in like somewhere like, let's say you live in like not the DeKalb, nah, not DeKalb. Like Lithonia, St.
There's places
Stone Mountain.
there's some nice places in DeKalb County. Like I'm on the outskirts too. I'm in the Atlanta area. I'm in Cobb County. So like, but
Oh,
I'm
you on the west side, based on the west side.
yeah, but I'm like I feel like I'm in the perfect position because I'm like 25 minutes from the airport. And I say 25 minutes because if I'm going to the airport, it's probably like at 6 a.m. So 25 minutes to the airport. I'm literally like
Mm-hmm.
25 minutes from downtown. Like I feel like I'm within reach of everything. So
That traffic is crazy
oh,
though.
it's horrible. It's been great these last couple of months because
Of course,
everybody
of
been in the
course.
house and everybody working
Yeah.
from home. But man, it's starting to ramp back up. You can definitely tell it's ramping
It's
back
opening
up.
up.
And
Atlanta
I'm
opening
not
up.
in the mood. We've been open, but they trying like
So
I
like Atlanta, so like that airport, I cannot stand that fucking airport.
why? So why do people say that it's the easiest airport to get through? It's
What?
Atlanta.
Why's
It
that,
is.
CJ?
What? That's
Listen.
the easy.
Why is
Nah,
that?
bro. Nah, bro.
Because and as a matter of fact, and I'm gonna do y'all one better. I'm about to do y'all one better, and y'all about to be mad. I love the new Detroit airport. The new Detroit airport is not as simple as Hartsfield. Hartsfield is so simple. All you gotta do is read the sign. All you gotta do is go through TSA and get on the train. You gonna go T, A, B, C, or D. It's easy. It's so easy. There's nothing hard about that.
No, it's because I can't. It's like so fucking crowded,
Well,
dog.
yes, absolutely. It absolutely has a lot. I mean, there's always a lot of people. And again, I take the easy route. I have a pre-check. So I ain't
Yep.
got to go through all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I go through pre-check. I mean, it's literally like 3 steps. You go through TSA. You get on the train. Like when you go through TSA, you're gonna be right at the train when you go down the escalator, and you get off wherever you're supposed to get
And,
off.
and before I had TSA pre-check, I just got TSA pre-check last year. I had clear.
Yeah.
And some airports don't have clear, so
Right.
I had to wait like 30 minutes, man. Because at the time Atlanta didn't have clear, so I had to wait like 40 minutes on the freaking line. I'm like, God fucking damn.
Nope.
And
You
then they be
can't
checking
go
my
on and pay
bags and
that
shit.
$85 for
85 for
5
5 years.
years. And especially if you I would say if you travel, if you're getting on a plane at least 3 times a year, like you need pre-check. Don't be standing in them lines. That's crazy.
Right. So I know like Atlanta, and you single, right? And
I am. Mm-hmm.
I know it's hard. Is it hard to like date in Atlanta?
Why is it hard to date in Atlanta, CJ? Why do you say that?
I'm not saying because you're single. I'm saying because like I know how hard it, because Atlanta they got a high homosexual rate, or
Yeah, but
or
And
large or
well, you
large.
know what somebody told me though? I hate to cut you off.
Go ahead.
It's not just the homosexual stuff that's going on. It's also like you just said, the tourist thing. Like everybody and their daddy constantly moving there. Like I got a homegirl who stay in Vegas, and she was saying that's sort of kind of the same thing in Vegas, like how it was when she was in Atlanta, because everybody feel like they're gonna up and move to Vegas, Atlanta, Texas, etc. And then it's like it's so many different personalities, so many different type of people. It just don't mush real. You know what I'm saying? It's like nobody really
I
organic.
would think, but I mean, the more people, the more chances, right? Like,
I
so
thought the same thing. I don't know. I never moved or been there long enough to really know.
well, to be honest, guys, I haven't really dated a lot here, and it's not because it's here and it's hard to do. It's just because I just ain't really for real been on it. Like
I understand. Okay.
So I mean, but I hear the stories. Like right now, I don't have the patience for these dating apps. I mean, I have friends and stuff that I text and talk to, maybe even go out with here and there. But I'm not I'm not constantly searching for my person. So I don't know. Like I've gone to so many. I'm in a sorority, so I go to a whole bunch of different Greek events. And again, down here, Greek events is like five
Mm.
times more than it is gonna be, anywhere
Mm.
else. Um, so I can go, and meet people, and everything is everything, but I'm not there to meet people unless it's like, on some networking type shit. Like I am, when I spend my money to go to an event or a day party, you're not really gonna catch me in a club or anything like that. If I'm going to a lounge, and I do a whole lot of stuff by myself, if I go and I do these things, I'm going to have a good time for myself. So I'm not really out here searching. If it happens, if I just so happen to be at somebody's cigar bar and I meet somebody nice and we click, so be it. But that's not what I'm there for. So people, I think sometimes I think it's awesome to be intentional. You know what I'm saying? I think it's awesome
Mm-hmm.
to know what you want and things of that nature. But I don't think that your sole purpose should be a search for your person. I just don't. And a lot of people do. You know what I mean? Like you can't live. How do you?
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree 100%
Mm-hmm.
because some people live their lives like this. This is why they stay, not happy because you're so busy trying to find somebody to make you happy. You're not making
Mm,
yourself happy. We say the cliche all the time. Oh man, you back in a relationship, man. You didn't even give your time self to breathe. But in reality, you do got to give yourself time to breathe. It might be 3 months, it might be 3 years, it might be 10 years.
mm-hmm,
Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when it's not right, don't force it. And that's
mm-hmm,
one thing I had to learn throughout the years. Like sometimes I'd have been trying to force situations on people or just on myself and it wasn't right. Like I was talking to a young lady years ago, not that long ago, about maybe 7 years ago, around that time. And it wasn't nothing wrong with her. She had herself together. I was trying to get myself together. Everything was perfect, right? On the outside, but like on the inside, I wasn't ready yet. And it's like
Yeah.
I had to let it. I ain't gonna say I broke up with her or dumped her or nothing like that, but I tried my best to like logically separate from her and
mm-hmm,
basically tell her like I'm not good. She was running around saying the same cliche stuff. I had somebody else and etc. Now, honest to God, wasn't talking to nobody else. And it's just I just knew like, nah, this ain't the right time for me. I
mm-hmm.
rather I rather be by myself and get my spirit right than force a relationship toxic again or just horrible
Yeah,
or
just forcing
because
it.
I'm
Yeah.
not right within. And
But
I
y'all
and I
know
peeped it
what?
within myself. Like I kept having a lot of soul searching.
What's crazy, what's funny and crazy at the same time is what one thing that I have run into with some of the men that I have met is that a whole lot of them don't have children. And so like I have other friends
Mm.
who don't have children and who want to have children, who are always meeting guys who have children, but they don't really want them to have children, where I'm the opposite. I'm like, please already have some kids because I can't
Mm,
give you any. Like I literally physically can't give you any. And honestly, if I could, I'm not on it. My son is 22.
right,
So I'm
right.
not trying to bear anybody's child, I'm not trying to adopt a little baby. Like I'm not trying to do any of that. Now, if he has kids and he has young kids, okay, that's fine. But I'm not trying to be the, you know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to do that. But I've met quite a few guys who don't have any children, and it's just like I'm like, and some that will say and that they're not trying to have any, but I'm just like, how do you know that? Like, how do you know that one day you're not gonna wake
That's
up and be
crazy
like,
because
I
I
want to have a
know
child?
that's crazy because I know I have a lot of female friends that says they always met men who got kids and they always want to meet somebody who don't have kids, and it's so hard, especially here in Detroit. It's so hard to find somebody who don't have any kids. But it's like
It could just be my luck. Like it could literally could just be me and me like running into these guys. But yeah, like I and I'm not going. I would never want to be that selfish person and be like, okay, we gonna get together and we gonna spend the rest of our life together. But you want to have a kid and I don't. You know what I mean?
Mm,
I can't do that. I don't want to do that. So that's
mm. I
why
think
I will not
that's a
date a
conversation.
man that doesn't have kids.
I think that's a conversation that a lot of people wait to the last minute to talk about, the kid conversation. Because sometimes you might get into a relationship, even if, like, let's say I don't have a kid and she don't have kids, and we don't even think about, I mean, bringing that up, everything start clicking, then out the clear blue, she might not, have the same idea as kids
Right.
as I do. I might want 2 kids. She might literally don't want none. Or
Mm-hmm.
set a goal for herself, like, look, I don't want to have no kids until blah blah this, that, and third, blah blah blah. And if I do have kids, I only want one. And just and
Mm-hmm.
then like, nah, you done created this type of friction within your relationship or situation or whatever, that if you just would have simply talked about right away, maybe you could have avoided. But when is it too early to start discussing kids in a relationship?
I mean, are
they
you
always put that question in the back burner.
Yeah, they do.
I don't put it on no black burner. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know up front. Like, look, I have a son. He's 22. I cannot have any kids. I can't have any. If I could, I'm not going to. So, like,
Right.
this is what it is. You can call me, say I'm selfish, whatever. Listen here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not living. I'm not like I literally dated a guy. This was years ago though. I was still back home then. I dated a guy years ago who right before right before I had the surgery that I had where can't have any, I had a hysterectomy, I can't have any kids anymore. But right before that, the doctor was telling me like, you know, it could, what the things that are going on with you could really be harmful, to you if you were to get pregnant. At that time, I think my son was like 10 or something. He was older, 11, 10, I was over it in the first place. I'm like, I'm not trying to have no more kids. Like he's already at an age where, you know what I'm saying? Like he's good. He's going to be okay. And then his dad went on ahead and had some more kids. He got brothers and sisters if he want to play with somebody. I'm not having any more kids.
Right.
But the guy that I was dating, like, he was so serious. He was like, well, we can adopt, we could do this. And I'm just like, you're not understanding. Well, he wanted me to have the baby. I'm like, first of all, I might die. So how's that gonna work? Like, I'm not trying to die. So, and I'm not trying to have a stillborn baby. Like, I'm not trying to go through none of those changes. And
Right, right.
I already said what I said. I have a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, however what old he is. Honestly, I'm just not there. I'm just not there. Like
Right.
I can't have your child. Like I was very open about it, and we just had to go our separate ways because I just couldn't.
He just gonna comprehend it. I know
No.
he really wanted kids too.
Yeah, he did. He has kids now. He has kids now. Good for him. I'm glad for him. But
I know he
I
like,
mean,
damn, I really wanted a
I
son.
don't ever think it's too. I mean, so when when you meet somebody and you're talking, y'all are talking about things. It's just like you would think that to get to know one another, you would think that conversation would come
It
up.
will come up. Yeah.
Sometimes it don't, and it's always like me and CJ was saying, like the last, like
But
it
people talk
bit
about
like
marriage. Because people talk about marriage. People talk about like, let's get a house together, 40 acres and a mule, shit like that. But kids
kids
always come
usually come up, and I'm not gonna hold y'all up. Kids come up when you think you got a pregnancy scare. Sometimes in relationships, like real talk, I'm just keeping
like,
it real.
or if you older, shit. If you don't, shit. If you older,
If
like if you
you,
like we 32, so like shit. Kids typically could be in the last. The older you get, the kids conversation be in the last of your mind. So like shit. If you got kids, okay, cool. If you don't have any kids, okay, fuck it. That's fine. That's fine with me too. That's
I was
me.
talking to my sister earlier about, you know what I'm saying, kids in particular. And I'm gonna ask you this question before we get up out of here or whatever. When it do come down to the decision of kids, who really get to say so in that? Is it an equal thing, or is it the woman? Is it the
Yeah.
man?
What do you
Because,
mean?
like,
Is
for
it an equal
instance,
thing?
You answer your
I
own
say that.
question, bro.
Well, no, I say that because let's say, all right, I meet a young lady, and we really don't know each other, but we have like a one night stand, and like a month later, she tells me she's pregnant. Nah, it gets to the point where she probably says she's pregnant, but then like she's telling me also she's getting an abortion. But I might want the child. You see what I'm saying? I might be
Okay,
ready
but
for kids.
that's a totally different kind of situation now, because y'all didn't already have
Right.
sex,
But
so you
see,
already knew what the consequence may be. Here's
but
that's where my issue
whoa,
is.
wait a minute. Go ahead. Go ahead.
When you make the decision, I don't care, one night stand or forever night stand,
Forever nightstand.
y'all done already
Anything,
did it.
bro.
Y'all done already did it. So
What's
y'all
having
both
kids
knew.
now before the little pregnancy thing? Was it like
But
a
I think you about to say exactly what I agree on, because we was having basically the discussion on, like, all right, like I was just saying, like he might want the child, right? And you didn't already lay down and had sex, regardless if you knew her 1 minute or 1 year or 10 years. You see what I'm saying? Now she's pregnant. Now it gets to the point where it depends on if she want to keep this baby or not. You see what I'm saying? Like you might even want to, on the flip side, be on some toxic stuff like, "No, I want you to get an abortion, blah blah blah, this, that, and the third, blah blah blah." That comes off toxic, right? Or if she on some stuff like for whatever reasons, like, all right, let's say she's sick, and like you was just saying in your situation, like, all right, I might have to get an abortion because me carrying this child might kill me, or I might not be ready for, or I don't want kids, period. Do that come off toxic if I'm still trying to have this baby? Because at the end of the day, we came down to the conclusion, it really still falls on the mother.
It does, and I get exactly what you're saying, and I those stories are so heartbreaking to me because
Oh my God.
because it
Go ahead.
because it is because technically I'm going to make the decision what I'm going to do in my body. Let me put
Right.
that out there first.
first and foremost?
I'm going to make the, because guess what? When it all comes down to it, I have to be the one. I have to make sure that I'm healthy. I have to make sure that the baby is healthy. Like all of this, all of bearing a child, that falls on me. No matter how much you want this
Right.
baby, no matter how bad you want it, all of that falls on me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so easy for somebody else to, just like a lighthearted way to look at it, like grandparents. All your mom and dad, they want you to have kids. They want, when am I gonna have grandbaby? When am I gonna have a grandbaby? Knowing good and well, like that fall on y'all. Like you see what I'm saying? Like I'm not.
Oh,
I'm going to make the decision. I mean, we're definitely gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna just, be like, oh damn, I'm pregnant and I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm just about to
I
go.
had two
Here it is.
situations. I had two situations that happened to me when I was younger in life. My high school girlfriend at the time wound up getting pregnant. Mind you, she got pregnant literally right after the we had, I'm not, but it was just more like fine broke up. Like it was already building up, toxic things was happening, not that bad, but it was like building up to the end of the relationship. So we wound up breaking up. She let me know like a month later she was pregnant. And then it was more like the dilemma. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna be there for my child. Me and you, we not really together. You know what I'm saying? And I feel
I
like
remember
we
we had this
both,
conversation too.
yeah, we did. Well, so I was just telling her, you know what I'm saying? So long story short, she basically told me the only way she can keep this child is if me and her was to get married. And that'll be the only way that she can keep this child. If we don't get married right then and there, she's not keeping the child. And I mean, at that time, I'm 17. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on, marriage? Like me and you not even together currently right now. So long story short, she wound up not keeping the child. And I remember after that, we tried our best to try to get together again, and even tried to keep a friendship, and it just wasn't the same anymore, you know.
Right.
And she was just on some stuff like, mainly, you know, we should have got married. Now, mind you, she was older than me too. I'm not gonna hold y'all up. I was 17, she was 19. So at that time, basically she was on some stuff like she gotta get my parents to sign my rights over so I can, you know, marry her and do the for real thing to do and things of that nature. It's not, you know, we both made mistakes. We
Oh, she
was
gave your ass an
young,
ultimatum,
and I'm
dog.
not gonna throw her on the bus. I'm not. Yeah, I mean, that's what happened. You know, it was a sad
Right.
thing. It took me a while to get over that. And like I said, we even tried once we got older, once I was like 18, 19, 20, we even tried to be friends to see if we can be together again. It just wasn't, it just, that loss there just wouldn't restore the relationship. Fast forward the story a little bit, I get into a newer relationship, and I feel, and she wound up getting pregnant. Now, we grown, we got our stuff together, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, bet I'm about to be a daddy finally, you know what I mean? I'm geeked. But she came and had the decision that she didn't want to keep the pregnancy, period. And I didn't have any say so in that, you know, and I was, and to a degree, that put a strain on our relationship too. So it's like,
I'm
down
sure it did.
I'd have been in two type of weird type situations when it came down to pregnancy. One type situation, down there, I got to have a shotgun marriage just to keep my baby at 17. And then in another, she just, whatever person was, she told me the reasons, and I'm not going to be toxic to, you know what I'm saying, make it seem like she didn't have logic, because she also had like sickly problems and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it was looking when we went to the doctors, they were saying it was it could have been growing sideways. She didn't know. I don't know the terms of that. I didn't heard it before, but she just made the decision that was best for her at the time, you know, and it hurt me too then. So it's like, now we hear a lot of situations to where women are try to, you know, well, I'm not gonna say women, just people, period, get, you know what I'm saying, pregnant. And then it's more like, was you keeping this baby? And then I seen that happen. Like I said, me and my sister was talking, and we saw that happen on TV. And she got highly offended because the dude was asking her, like, so what you go do? Huh? What you mean what I'm gonna do? But at the end of the day, it's your decision. No matter if I want you to get rid of the baby, no matter if I want you to keep it, you have to make that decision for you. You know, you the one who carrying it, you putting your body at risk. You know, giving
Absolutely.
birth, from my knowledge, is like the closest thing most women get to death. Now, how would I know?
Listen,
I'm
I'm
listening.
trying to tell you. I'm trying. That's all I'm saying is I'm trying to tell you. Like, I don't know. I do. I think it's hard. I think it's heartbreaking when things like that happen, because I mean, I couldn't imagine what that would feel like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Oh, wait a
and
minute,
it
hold on.
does.
My bad. I'm not trying to cut you off. But then the last situation I was with, a couple months after that, she wound up getting pregnant again. So this go round, because she knew I was so heartbroken off the first go round, she like, all right, we gonna keep it. Everything was going smoothly, then she wound up having a miscarriage.
Mm,
So it was just was like, in one hand, God is showing me that like this is not the person that I'm meant to be with or meant to have kids with. But like me at that time, you know, almost 10 years ago, whatever it was just heartbreaking. Because it's like, wow, you know, the first two times I didn't really have a say so in this. Soon as
mhm.
I finally got a say so, and soon as, you know what I'm saying, everything is going good, she had a miscarriage like at 3 months or 4 months or something like that. And it was
You
just like,
think maybe it just wasn't meant to be then? Like,
yeah, you know, now as an adult, I understand everything. But just at that time, you see what I'm saying, that I was talking about. Now I'm cool with the situation. I understand the situation. And I'm not gonna say I'm happy, but to a degree I am, because that relationship was extremely toxic. Like right after them pregnancies, everything went downhill. You see what
mm,
Mm.
I'm saying? So I'm happy that happened. In
Man.
hindsight, I'm happy. But like just at that time, and the only reason why I'm even bringing that up is because me and her was having a long conversation about this earlier after watching the stuff we saw on TV. And it was like the way that the lady on TV was reacting And I know she was just playing a role, you know what I'm saying? It's acting and stuff like that. But the
Mhm.
way she was acting was as if the father was just like a complete piece of shit, because he was just basically saying, well, you have the option. That's not my decision. If you want to keep the baby, cool. If you don't, cool. What am I supposed to do?
Right.
Bro, thank God I never been through no shit like that.
I couldn't
Man.
imagine. I couldn't imagine.
I can't imagine. Like I had a couple of pregnancy scares, but shit, when I had got somebody pregnant and shit, nah.
Yeah, well.
Cause like I grew up like I got brothers. I got like 6 brothers and sisters, and all my brothers and sisters, they all got kids out of wedlock. And I seen like all the struggles they was going through and everything like that, child support, baby mama, daddy drama, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
I always put it in my mind like I would never go through what they going through. I'm gonna go. I ain't gonna have kids till I get married. I'm not gonna depend on no food stamps, none of that shit. So I always had it in my mind. I mean, I did what I did before marriage, whatever like that, but I always protect myself. I'm like, cause shit, I ain't want to have no kids, and then I don't want to put my kid in this earth knowing that I can't. I mean, I can't support him financially because I was in college. I was broke as hell, and then
Mm.
plus I'm not married yet.
And
So,
honestly, I think a whole lot of us had that same, thought. We all, that's what ended up being one of the ones that it actually happened for. Like I had the same exact thought. Like I'm not, and it was kind of different it was kind of on the other end, as far as like what Rob was saying. Like my son's dad, he told me we were going to get married. I was 17, I think 17, 18, maybe. I was 18 when I had my son, but
mhm.
I was he said we was gonna get married, and then like 6 months into my pregnancy I was like, well, what? I thought we was, and he told me, he said, I'm too young to get married. That was his answer. I'm too young to get married.
He the
I'm
flip flop on your.
straight
Y'all about
flip.
the same. Y'all was the same age, right?
And then like,
He
and then
I think well, let's see. He is 2 years older than me. Is he 2 years
Oh,
older?
okay. So he
A
was 19.
and then like even in my situation when I was 17 and she gave me that option, she didn't give me long to think about it. It was more like she told me this Thursday, and then Tuesday she was making her final decision. You see what I'm saying? And I
Mm-hmm.
kept telling her, like, we had a long conversation. I'd never forget. We had a long, was like talking on the phone about damn near the whole day on like today. You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I remember I kept trying to say, like, well, me and you need to work on some of our issues. You see what I'm saying? Because, like, think about this. I even said what we said earlier. We can get married, and then now we got this toxic relationship with this
Mm.
involved. You see what I'm saying? Now, I wasn't using the term toxic and stuff like that back then, but I was just telling her, like, that now we got problems and issues, and it's a child involved. We need to try to work on me and you. You just so busy worried about, well, let me save face and get married so my family won't be embarrassed and this, that, and the third. Instead of like, all right, damn, me and this dude don't even get along right now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I get where you're coming from.
granted, we could have, but at that time it was just we wasn't even talking. We
You
broke
def
up,
you
and it
definitely
wasn't like
you definitely could have, and guess what? Where you would have been? You would have been together for the kids. We right back at
right.
square
Remember
one.
we said
We was talking about that.
that
Yeah.
earlier. Remember?
Mhm.
And then I'm in this marriage. Think about this. I would have been married now like 15 years or something like that. Miserable. Sticking
Maybe.
it out for my
Maybe nah.
child or
You probably would have got
kids. But
divorced
then
in that first year.
maybe not.
Shit. Fuck it.
Maybe not. She
Maybe,
probably
maybe
would have
not.
killed my ass low key. But who knows?
Right. So yeah, we about to get up out of here. Y'all have any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
Um, I ain't got no final thoughts, but I appreciate y'all being on here. If you don't mind, I'll let everybody know where to find me in my
Yes.
podcast.
Yes. Go
Oh
ahead.
yeah,
Go
do that.
ahead.
Get
All
information.
right. So again, thank you for having me. This has been fun. We will definitely have to do it again. I'm gonna have to get y'all on my show. My name is Autumn the Aries, and you can find me at Autumn the Aries on Twitter, on Instagram at AutumnTheAries, on YouTube at AutumnTheAries. And you can find, I have a website, www.autumnthearies.com. And my Facebook page is literally for my podcast. So that's if you go on the Facebook and look up Lit Life Podcast, the page will come up. And you can find the podcast on just about any streaming platform: Google, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. I mean, you name it, Apple, Spotify, you name it, you'll be able to find me there. Also, some of my episodes stream on YouTube, like it's all audio, but I do have some episodes that are video as well.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. That's what we doing right now. So, we doing Zoom right now. So we gonna put it on YouTube.
Okay.
So we trying to do the thing. You feel me?
Yeah, I feel it.
So, all right, Rob, you got any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
Appreciate you, Autumn, man. It was a good show.
Yes.
You know, appreciate it. Try to come back if you can. Like I say, I tell everybody every episode, man, be safe out here during these times. You know, thank y'all for listening and tuning in. We really appreciate y'all, man. You know, subscribe to the YouTube, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and I love y'all, man. Be safe.
What I want to say is be careful out there. Detroit, I think this is like what, day 5 of the protest now, day 5, day 6,
Mm.
and it's been peaceful for the most part.
Like day 4.
Yeah. Shout out to Big Grinch, our governor of Michigan. She came out with the protest with us earlier today. Her and Mayor Mike Duggan, they came out and supported us. Thank you all. Let's see what else.
Can y'all make sure that while y'all are out protesting that you still have your mask on? A lot of people have here. Y'all, please, that's one of my final thoughts. Please don't forget that Corona is still killing niggas. Like, please, like.
Thank you.
That is important. That is very important, man. Because I always go out. If I go out like large gatherings, I always wear a mask. Like even like a few weeks ago, we celebrated my mom's birthday. God rest her soul. We had some was wearing masks, some was taking it off, but for the most part, we was wearing masks because it was like a huge gathering.
Yeah, you have to. Even if
important.
It's not. I mean, if you just going into the gas station or the grocery store, like,
man,
please still wear your mask. Please to wear something around your face. I know it's not like that whatever special mask that you really need to have, but it really will stop the transmission of this horrible virus that we don't even know what the hell it is. So just stay safe.
Exactly.
Also
have hand sanitizer on deck too.
Mm-hmm.
That is very important. But we about to get up out of here. This is CJ.
It's your man's Rob.
And once again, AutumnTheAries, thank you for coming.
No problem. Y'all take it easy.
You too.
Peace.
And this is 3 Raw. Let's see.